Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast blending soul and science-based strategies to empower pandemic moms like you, raising kindergarten-ready kids. I'm Cara Tyrrell, your host, a lifetime lover of littles, girl mom, early childhood educator, and conscious parenting coach who truly believes that how we connect and collaborate with our kids in the first 5 years is how we raise world-ready kids who will change this world.
Timeouts versus time-ins versus quiet corners. What is the difference? That's what I'm talking about today. Wow, what a topic. And we really need to dig in because I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your mind. Nothing. There's no difference between a timeout, a time-in, or a quiet corner, or any other label that you give the time away that you require of your child after a behavior that you have deemed inappropriate or unsafe. Because that's all these are, labels. We can call them rosy, sunshiny things. We can call them really negative, upsetting things. But what is the point of time away from the situation? It is to help your child learn how to make and choose to make different choices, different behaviors in the future. So we call them different things because as conscious moms, we really don't love the term time out. It feels negative. It feels derogatory. It feels like we are belittling our littles. So we call them time-ins or quiet times or aways or cozy corners. But what matters more than anything is that you know why you're putting them there and what your long-term goal is for the changing of their choices. This is the key because that time away, that short separation comes at the end of a collaborative decision-making process between the two of you. That starts with you acknowledging that you're not okay with the behavior and up levels to a warning. If you continue to choose this behavior, then you are going to be in timeout and they continue to choose the behavior. They make a concerted choice to continue the behavior. And then you follow through on what you said you would do, which, as we know around here, anchors your relationship. Yes, following through on now it's time for you to sit here and take a break for 1 minute helps them trust that you mean what you say. There's the trust. Helps them respect your words because they believe the honesty that you truly do mean it. And the open communication piece comes in after that minute is over. I get this question all the time. How long should these time aways be? Well, I subscribe to the age of your child because developmentally, they are able to handle 1 minute at 1 year old, 2 minutes at 2 years old, and so forth, without it feeling like they sensorially just cannot handle any more of those moments. So that's my take on that. My question is, how many warnings do you give? Because the warning is important. That if this continues, I'm going to put you in timeout. That is important. But multiple warnings confuse your child. If it's an empty warning, if you don't stop throwing things at me from the back seat of the car I'm going to pull over and we're never going to make it to grandma's house. That's not actually something you can follow through on. Therefore, your child, being their beautiful, brilliant little brainiac selves, are going to key in on that. She can't do that. We eventually have to get there. So there's really no motivation for me to stop this behavior. So empty warnings will get you nowhere, but more frustrated and more overwhelmed and saying even more things that you cannot follow through on. Then there are the multiple warnings, kind of like replaying the record warnings. I told you to stop this. I told you to stop. You're not stopping. If you don't stop, this is going to happen. And you just keep reiterating something, but never taking action on it. In that situation, your child is learning, because they're always learning, how this relationship works between the two of you. Oh, all I have to do is either say, sure, okay, I promise never to do it again. Because she's just going to keep saying the same thing to me over and over anyway. So we'll just do this. We'll just have a tennis match. I don't actually have to make different choices. I just have to make her feel like I heard her in the moment. Have you had that experience? And then for a hot minute, it's good. And then they do it again. And you're like, wait a minute, we just talked about this. Well, you didn't really talk about it. You said something, they told you what you wanted to hear, and you thought you were okay, but you moved on too soon because you didn't follow through on the warning that you gave. And in that case, they're learning they don't have to respect your words, that you're not telling them the truth. You're saying something, but you're not doing it. They're learning that this communication thing is one-sided, not a back and forth. So why do we follow through on timeouts? It's the building of that beautiful relationship. It is also helping them see how they can make different choices in the future. And that comes in with our post-timeout conversation. I have a very clear, systematized, and organized post-timeout conversation that I use with kids. And there is never any negativity in it whatsoever. I never use the word no. I never assign blame. It is really organized in such a way that we are collaborating inside a conversation to futuristically think about the next time they bump up against a situation that doesn't feel good to them, and their body tells them to react by doing the thing that got them in timeout in the first place, how they can self-monitor and make a different choice or choose a different strategy so they don't end up where they are in that moment. It's empowering. It's invigorating. It's actually a celebration. So it doesn't matter what you call it. Time out, time away, time in, cozy corner, does not matter what you call it. It matters how you do it. Because the results you are going to see will be a better relationship with your child. Their, quote, behavior will be better because they believe you when you say, I mean this, I'm going to follow through. Better make a different decision. And then they leave time out, if they end up there in the first place, with a new strategy in their toolbox or a reminder strategy in their toolbox. They leave there feeling loved and supported and educated and empowered, not broken down, not the result of a power struggle. We set them up for future success, not future failure. So that's what timeouts are really all about. That warning matters, this decision-making opportunity that they have that will either land them there or not, this clear outcome statement that you're making, and then your child makes their choice. So here's a cool little story to add on so that you can get kind of a better idea of what I'm talking about. My daughter is a nanny, and she happens to nanny for the kids who I used to nanny for. So they grew up with her as an older sister style role model from their earliest months of life. And now at 18, she has taken over the nanny position just as a summer job, and they're 4 and 5. And they're giving her a run for her ever-loving money. And let me tell you, she's a mini-me. She gets it. She's watched and listened all these years, and she knows what words to use and tone to choose and opportunities to give. And she knows how to lay boundaries and hold them with loving respect. But this has been a beast of a summer. So many behaviors, so many timeouts. And she said to me the other day, I'm just so frustrated, Mom. I feel like I'm doing a terrible job because I feel like I'm always telling them they have to take a break, but they really do. I don't know what's going on. And there's so many pieces to it, but here's what I said to her. How many warnings are you giving them before you take action and tell them they need to take a break? 3, she said. Why was my question. Why 3? As soon as you get past the first warning, they're like, oh, then there'll be another one. Oh, okay, now there's been 2. So there's bound to be 3. And they have turned the corner into boundary testing instead of her taking swift action and following through immediately on what she said she would do when they made that next choice, not to stop the behavior. So she went to work and she came home that afternoon and she said, Mom, I walked in this morning and I just told them straight up, here's how it's going to be. You don't get 3 warnings from me anymore. You get 1. If you don't change your choices and make better decisions and behaviors after 1 warning, I'm taking you straight to timeout. Instead of the multiple timeouts per kid that she had to do every day, on that day, she only had to do 2 for 1 child until he went, oh, she really means it. And the rest of the day was so much better. Less is more, my mama friends. You get 1 warning and that's it. And tell your kids that. Trust them enough to give them that information. I sat with amazing conscious moms. Maybe you were one of them inside our live free workshop, Transforming Your Triggers. And boy, those behaviors that lead us to timeouts, those are the triggers, right? And we know them. I had the honor and privilege of sharing a system with you that allows you to hijack those knee-jerk reactions and turn them into conscious responses, and very often bypass the need for timeouts by feeding into the energy that they're throwing at you. The replay is up. It's live. I would love if you have an opportunity in the next 24 hours to go have a watch and go have a listen. See what you can take away from this so you can add value immediately to your home and the way that you engage with your kids when they trigger you and they challenge you. See if we can avoid some of these timeout moments. And the doors are wide open to the Transforming the Toddler Years course, where not only do I go even deeper into the transforming triggers conversation, but I give you the exact formula that I use, the exact conversation that I have with kids after a timeout that sets them up for success. So if this is feeling really relevant to you in your current life and you want to find more joy inside toddlerhood and get away from struggle while knowing that your kids will build the skills they need, those beautiful skill muscles to be successful, independent people outside of your house, then I would love to have you in the program. please go ahead and check the links in the show notes. Go watch the replay. And if this course is right for you, I will see you very, very soon. Whatever the right course for you, whatever the right path for you right now, thank you for taking time out of your busy mom days a couple times a week to listen to the show and just up level into your best conscious collaborative self. You truly are doing the big work of raising the next generation. And here's to transforming those toddler years. I hope you are enjoying our back to school mini series that will run all through the month of August and the beginning of September. Topics that are relevant to where you are and what your kids are going through right now as you start full-time daycare programs, preschool enrollments, and even those first few days of kindergarten. Please take a moment and scroll down, rate and review the show. Let people know what you love about it and leave me a note of an episode topic you would love to see me record. Until next time, stay mindful and proactive as we raise school-ready kids who will change the world.